Hey everyone, I have another interview for you. I found Eleni Kelakos. She is a speaker whisperer, which sounds fabulous because who doesn't need help speaking? And it's part of video. So yes, I'm excited to bring her to you. Eleni, do you want to? You can correct me on the name if I got it wrong. Totally cool.
Oh, no, Gina, it was flawless. Eleni Kelakos. I appreciate your pronunciation.
I have a husband really fast that speaks 3 languages, and so he's very like pronunciation. Like it's not Chile, like you would say the South America. It's Chile. So anyway, I'm used to pronouncing things very interestingly. But anyway, why don't you introduce yourself to us, who you are, how you got to where you're at, specifically in the name of kind of confidence on camera.
Well, I am the speaker whisperer, yes. And what that means is that I spend my days either as a coach or a trainer or a speaker out there as an inspirational or motivational speaker, doing my best to help people, typically professionals, very often women, be more real and relaxed and relatable when they are in spotlight moments, whether they're on camera or off. I want to help them show up as the fully alive, relaxed, breathing humans that they are, warts and all. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for juiciness and yumminess and really helping people bring the best of who they really are to those moments. And I use theater tools. I learned these tools as a young actress in New York and Los Angeles, where I struggled, particularly in interviews and auditions initially, trying to show up, and not be all, I call it sphinctered up, with eyeballs on me. I wanted everyone to love me and hire me on the spot, and I wanted to please and be perfect. And all those things got in my way. So I had some wonderful master level teachers in New York who helped me learn how to be here and how to unbutton myself and show up. And this was particularly important when I started auditioning in front of cameras, because cameras, ooh, baby. I mean, I found for myself, as soon as I got in front of a camera, I froze. It was like my head was fine and the rest of me turned into a block of ice. So that was a real education for me. And I had to learn tools to help me manage it. So that's why I do what I do. I realize that there are a lot of people out there who are struggling with this, not just with fear of public speaking, or who were struggling with perhaps even putting presentations together, not knowing where to start, but really struggling with the whole concept of being vulnerable and open with eyes on you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, first of all, people watching, she did a couple things. I don't know if you caught it. She paused. Pausing is great. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but pausing is great to just kind of let something sink in instead of just like a million miles an hour brush over everything. And then inflection, using voice up and down to bring points to some, just to point that out. Like, you did very good.
You are so right, Gina. You are so right. Pauses are everything. Leaving room after you make a point, I always say, just take a moment, let the point drop in silence. With people, however, are so afraid of silence that they keep blathering on. So it's about getting comfortable in that moment of silence and just being there.
Yeah, definitely something I've had to learn. Now, I want you define, because you said juiciness and yumminess on camera. I want you to define what that means to you.
Well, I have an expression I use. It's called transformational presence. I believe that we're all born with this. It is that ability to be just who we are, with eyeballs on you, without trying to please or be perfect. It is just simply, it's a magnetic thing. I mean, you have a child, you know what it was like when your child was born and very, very young. You could probably sit and look at your child for hours and they were doing nothing except being, they're blowing little spit bubbles.
Mm.
And they were riveting. They weren't trying to please. They weren't trying to make nicey nice. They were just being in the moment. So what I feel is it's transformational presence is a willingness to be able to be in the moment without apology, as well as being able to have access to all your unique yumminess. And by yumminess, I mean your gifts. For example, I love to tell stories. I'm a storyteller. And I want to be able to access those things when I am in those spotlight moments. Or, your sense of humor, if you have one. And most of us do. The things that make us kind of quirky and wonderful. That's what I mean by that.
How would you, like, if someone's sitting here watching this going, yeah, but when I get up on stage, I freeze. What like piece of advice or pieces would you give someone to start accessing that?
Yes. First of all, I really believe in what I call R and R and R, ritual, routine, and repetition. I believe in having some things that you can do to manage your fear before you step into a spotlight moment and if something goes wrong. And there's one really simple tool. I love this tool. I call it FBI. And it is something that I'll explain it very simply and quickly, but understand that it can be used as a preparation tool or a recovery tool if something goes wrong. So F means floor, footing. Find the floor with your feet, ground yourself, because what happens is we go right into our heads where Mo and Schmo, our little judges, live, who are hissing the limiting beliefs and fears into our heads, right? I call those the lies that bind you. And we step out of our bodies literally and out of the moment. So find the floor with your feet, F, floor, footing. Then bring your breath into your belly, FB, breath, belly. Your breath is everything. What I learned as a young actress was to use my breath to help myself remove armor that was getting in the way emotionally and to unlock my body. And the way that I did it was literally, for example, bringing your shoulders up to your ears and then releasing with a sounded exhalation. I learned to release all my muscles in my body from head to toe and be in that nice relaxed body. But I used my breath to do it too, to make sound as well as I exhale. When I say be in this case, I say take a moment to close your eyes and really do some mindfulness breathing. I'm always suggesting, if you have the time, inhale and exhale 10 times, following the breath in and out. And at the top of the exhalation, think a word that makes you feel good, like center or peace or calm.
Okay.
And then exhale. Bring that breath into your belly, calming your nervous system, right? And finally, I is for intention. You got to know why you're in that moment. You have to know the deeper purpose, the why that is there in service to the audience. That's your intention. The clearer you are with the intention, the more you can focus on it. That's what you're there to do. It's more important than anything else. So it's remembering that intention. And I is also, even though it's not spelled that way, eyeball to eyeball, heart to heart. It's a reminder that it's always about this, connecting eyes, and creating that figurative energy between you and another human, whether you're in front of the camera or in the room with them. Now, you can use that, by the way, FBI, if something happens. And I always say, something happens that's bad and you get thrown. Always have water with you. And if you are thrown, or if you fall off the stage like I did last year, Another story. Yes, yes. It
She
was a
messed up,
short
you guys.
stage.
She messed up. It's totally fine. She's alive.
Oh my God. I mean, seriously, I just, there was no longer any stage. I just like kept walking and went boom, right in front of a camera too. It's all, I have it on camera. It's
I
awesome.
love it.
I like to show it to my clients.
Oh, I
But,
love it.
but I'll tell you, I did this then. I always have water with me,
Mm-hmm.
bottled water usually. And so I practice FBI slightly differently. I got to my feet, find your feet, meaning
Mm-hmm.
F, ground yourself, and then grab your water, take a sip of it,
Mm-hmm.
and exhale. You have to exhale anyway, because that's just a physiological reaction to drinking.
Right.
Get back in touch with that breath and get back in touch with the task at hand, that intention. It's a simple recovery tool, not dissimilar to what peak performing athletes do. Pitchers, when they're on the pitcher's mound and a pitch goes wrong, they have simple tools like that to help them recover.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to help yourself be in the body, be breathing, and be relaxed before you step into these scenarios, so you can keep returning to it.
Right.
Get the yayas out. Nice, especially in front of a camera. Especially in front of a camera.
Okay, if I could just like give you a hug because you shared a failure, I would. I love when people share failures because we should more, so people know it's fine.
It's fine. And in fact, from a speaker or a presenter standpoint, if something happens, my acting teacher used to say, it's manna from heaven. If you are alive and in the moment, one of those, that could be so rich. Something can happen. You can, if your sense of humor is intact, you can play with what happened. And it can be one of the most memorable moments of the whole presentation.
Yeah.
So, and I actually believe that how you react to something that goes awry tells your audience how to react. So if you're okay with it, they're okay.
Yeah. It's like the kid that skins their knee. You're like, oh, ha, ha,
ha. Exactly. That's right. It's like, no, you're fine. Because they're not sure. Their little lips are quivering. I think it's bad. I'm not sure it's bad.
Yeah. No, I've got a lot of practice with that one. So is FBI the ritual? Is there more for the routine?
Yeah, there are many rituals. That's one that you can engage in.
Oh, okay.
When I'm working with my clients, I'm always suggesting that they come up with two or three things that they can do to help get their three presence planes, their vocal presence, their physical presence, right, the meat suit, and their energetic presence alive and kicking, and focused. So I'll often suggest that they come up with something that wakes their voice up, little tiny vocal exercises, like even humming. Humming is a great vocal exercise. Anything that gets the movement of air through those vocal cords is great. Literally doing something that loosens their body, get the bootay going, I'm serious. Like when I say get the yayas out,
I'm smiling because I generally have a dance party beforehand. So
a dance party, Gina. That's brilliant. Okay, a dance party. But there's some other things too. That energetic presence, that vibe that you put out, it's dictated by what you think or believe. And so I believe in positive self-talk and what I call power phrases, like I am ready. Is a simple one. I know my truth and I am here to share it.
Yeah.
Little phrases that evoke in you, that touch that deeper, I call it your soul roll, but that touch you deeply in the place that in that deep purpose, why you're here, that help to link it to what you're doing.
Right.
And help bring that sense of inner confidence, right? Which is, of course, confidence is an inside job. So, but also things like this. Okay, I have a client who, when she wants to feel that sense of confidence, she's a bodybuilder. You never know it because in her daily job, she wears a suit and she's very light, but she will wear her bodybuilding bikini underneath. Oh. She's like, yeah, baby.
Oh, I love that.
Well, whatever it takes. If it's that pair of, socks that makes you feel good, or, something like a little, a little amulet or a ring. I wear a ring off my mom's. She's not here anymore, at least on the physical plane. But when I'm really anxious or nervous up there, and I get anxious or nervous, I'll bring mama with me
Mm-hmm.
by way of the ring. And I'll say, Ma, this is for you. I'm dedicating this particular performance or presentation to you. Be there with me today. I
Yeah.
need your support. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
these are the little things, and doing them regularly is very helpful. Picking maybe 3 things that you might actually do every single time gives you that sense of calm. It's like sucking your thumb. It's self-soothing.
Mm-hmm.
And fear cannot hit a moving target. So, action trumps fear. So when you are in action, it's a lot harder for Mo and Schmo to grab a hold of you and sink their little fangs in you.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know about what you've heard, but I had a therapist the other day actually tell me that moving your vocal cords decreases anxiety. So like even like the hum or like the ohm, but just any type of singing actually
Well, I
decreases
love that. It makes sense to me.
it.
And again, you're doing something. Again, there's no self-respecting actor I know would get on stage without doing vocal exercises, warming their body up, and some wacky ritual with their castmates, like standing in a circle, putting their heads together and their arms around each other and humming and then going, yes, or some odd, weird thing that they would do every single show. And if they didn't do it, they would feel that something was wrong. It just adds that sense of ownership to the moment. And I think it's calming,
Mhm.
centering, and it gives you, again, it gives you something to do that's consistent. When the curtain's going to raise,
Mhm.
anything can happen. So whatever you can control is good. You have to get yourself to a place where you're willing to, you've done everything you can to manage whatever you can, and then you got to be able to let go, be in the moment, and surrender to the stage, and that takes preparation.
Yeah, for sure. So repetition, practice, anything more to say there?
Well, as I say, and I'm staring at my wall because I just glued these words up on my wall. Practice builds confidence. Confidence builds presence, and presence is power. I am a huge believer in practice, meaning practice makes mastery. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm looking for, moving toward mastery. Practice meaning, if you are giving a presentation, especially one that is going to be short and timed, you
Mhm.
better know it like the back of your hand. And that means speaking it out loud. If you're going to be doing anything that is videotaped, and you're going to have a camera on you and it is timed, you better know it like the back of your hand and practice it in front of a camera.
Yeah, I've heard TED
You
Talks
know,
are pretty much that way.
very much. I mean, when I'm working on those kinds of things with my clients, I'm like, look, you know what? 7 minutes goes by like the drop of a hat. 17 minutes goes by like this.
Yeah.
You've got to know those. You have to know those talks. They need to be conversational. They need to be relaxed and real, but you got
Mhm.
to know them, because amateurs practice until they get it right, but professionals practice until they can't get it wrong.
Yeah.
And that lets you actually relax in front of a camera. And one thing I do want to say too about the camera, it is such an interesting thing what the pandemic has brought. But we're all staring at cameras. And when I was a young actress, I was really scared of
Mhm.
cameras. I really was. I didn't really know how to manage them or handle them, but I decided that I would get better at it. And so I asked around, what do I do? What do I do? And I kept being told the one thing that I have remembered throughout this pandemic, which is make the camera your new best friend. If the camera's on you and you are told to speak into the camera, in an audition, or when you are doing your close-up and the camera is literally right there and you need to
Mhm.
speak into it, imagine someone that you love
Yeah.
and talk to them, really talk to them. It's not that you can't move your eyes away from it, but I think of the camera as home base and keep coming back to it. Make sure it's at eye level and get used to doing it. Practice that, get on Zoom by yourself and play.
Yeah.
Get on Zoom by yourself and play. Play with the camera. Get to the point where it's just a camera. And remember that when you're speaking into the camera, you're talking to one person at a time. It's easy to look at the screen if you have a few people on it and do this and look at those thumbnails, but
Right.
that's not quite what you're there to do. You're there to speak into the camera, which will make every one of those people feel that you're talking to them.
Right.
Yeah, it's really tricky. And you know this. You're of course beautiful on camera.
Oh, thank you.
You are. And we talked about this, but with photography as well, which as a young actress, I had countless headshots taken, right? You're always taking headshots. And it took me years to get to the point where I could relax in front of a camera and let myself be seen. And I think part of it is that allowing yourself to be seen.
And I feel like that's such a relation to life, is how many of us really let ourselves be seen in life, outside of like those home walls, and is that why being in front of camera is so hard? Because it mirrors so much more of that for us to see.
Yeah, and I think that that's so incredibly true. I think it does. And there's the sense of it being indelible somehow. Oh no, it's on camera forever.
Hmm.
It will always be out there. And actually, as an actress, it was a different experience being on camera because I had no control over the
The
of what it
editing.
would eventually what it would look like.
Yeah, true.
So you could only hope that the take was good and that the edit would be good. But I think that generally speaking, people are really afraid. They're afraid that who they are isn't enough. They're afraid they're going to be rejected. Afraid that they're going to look stupid. They're afraid that they're going to, I don't know, just be seen as inept,
Yeah.
silly. They're afraid to make a mistake, fall on their butts, pick themselves up. And yet those are the things that make us so deliciously human and relatable.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned rejection. Yourself as a previous actress, I'm sure have been rejected at least once.
Oh, countless times. That's basically your job as an actor, is to manage rejection.
How does one manage rejection?
It's really hard. You have to. Here's the thing about any of these things, any of these spotlight moments that we step into, whether we're interviewing for a new job, giving a pitch for a product or service, or giving a big, huge keynote, or doing a training, it doesn't matter what it is, or being interviewed like this, right?
Hmm.
We have to step in with everything we've got. We have to want it. We have to give it all we have. And sometimes it doesn't work out the way you might have thought. Something may go wrong, or you don't get the gig, as an actress, right? You want it more than life itself. You can't stop yourself from bringing everything you have out of just because you're afraid. You have to throw your arms wide open and step into the moment and embrace it for whatever it gives you.
Hmm.
And it is the hardest thing in the world because you could easily be rejected.
Hmm.
But honestly, I'd rather be rejected because I gave it everything I had than rejected, uh, because I didn't, or not do it and regret it.
Yes. No, I go by that a lot. Is like I would rather try and fail than like have not tried it all and regret it.
Absolutely.
I absolutely have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what this is about too, because during the pandemic, I had a lot of people come up to me to help them with their virtual presence and virtualizing their presentations and blah blah. And I've talked to a lot of people over the past year, excuse me, about uh, using video and how to use video and ideas around video. And my feeling about it is, dive in, right? I think video is everything. I think being able to do little mini videos and put yourself out there and have your potential clients or clients be able to get to know you that way. What better way to help people get a feel for who you are, you know?
Hmm.
And we need to learn that as an actress, everything had to be perfect from a visual standpoint. That's one
Yeah,
thing I had to unlearn in this day and age. Because, in truth,
it doesn't have to be.
it's not about perfect.
Yeah.
In fact, my clients love it when I just hop on a little, I'm doing some little live thing or
Hmm.
I'm just yakking into the camera. And my hair is like, "Wee," and I'm maybe not perfectly made up, and my cat comes in
Yeah.
the room and meows at me. And we are all
Mhm.
human, and the pandemic has shown us that. You
Yes.
know, we've been in rooms where, well, I've certainly seen this. Someone's husband started undressing in the back in the corner and didn't realize I could see him. Things have happened, you know,
We've even seen
stuff
it
goes
on
wrong.
TV.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and we've learned it's just we're all human together. It's all okay.
Yeah, for sure. So since you brought up like doing the small video, we've talked about a lot, kind of more big production. What would you say to the someone that's like just afraid to do a Facebook Live? Like,
Yeah. Well, again, get very clear about what it is. What's the intention of that Facebook Live? It's like with any presentation, you got to know who's the audience you're trying to reach. What
mm,
are they struggling with? What gives you the right to talk to them? And then figure out, okay, based on that, here's my intention. Here's the big idea I'm going to take and elaborate upon within that time.
mm,
And I like having structure. So, suss out, kind of make a little, you can keep have a loose little outline, you know, and then do the work to get yourself really physically relaxed beforehand. Bring your shoulders up to your ears and then release with an exhalation. Make faces at yourself in the mirror. Make a prune face, stick your tongue out. Get yourself, shake your hands out, shake your bootay out, dance, have a dance party like you do, Gina.
mhm.
And then, and again, remember, these are people just like you. Be willing to really let it be conversational, fun, and real. And if something goes wrong, just embrace it for what it is. Have a laugh. See if you can turn lemons into lemonade. Know that it doesn't have to be perfect. Just give it a shot and make it short initially. You know, give yourself like say, I'm going to do it for 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Just dive in. I don't care if like two people are watching.
Yeah. I've still been on lives. Not many people are watching.
Yeah, I know people do, and that's the thing.
Fine.
They
But
typically aren't.
the nice thing though is like for like a Facebook Live, it's still on the page. There's still other people that watch it. So it still lives on. So
Exactly.
and I want to bring up one thing like I try and think of is like, okay, I might feel hesitant, but out there is like one person's life that I can make a difference. Cause you know,
Uh,
like one person might need to hear what you have to say today.
I learned this lesson many years ago.
Mm.
It's a long story, but I'm going to truncate it just to say that I lost my home in a fire many years ago in LA. And 2 days after that fire, I was devastated. I lost my kitty too. I lost my cat, Cassie, and I was a wreck emotionally. But
Mhm.
I also had a gig. I was a singer songwriter at the time, and I had a show 2 days afterwards. And I got on that stage that night, and I was a raw, open wound. But I gave that show, and gave it everything I had. And I talked, I cried, I shared. My audience was wonderful.
Mhm.
Um, and were just there with me. And then I went back to my friend's house where I was staying because I'd lost my home. And the next morning, I got an email from someone, and it said, "Hi, you don't know me, but I'm a poet, performance poet. I was I've been a very, very depressed person for about a year. And last night was the night I decided I was going to take my life. And as I was walking home with the intention of doing this, I passed this coffee shop and I heard a voice coming out from the door, and that voice compelled me to walk in, and it was you on that stage. And I sat down and I listened to you. And I thought, if Eleni can get on that stage, in spite of the hell she's just been through, and just be here with us and share her pain with us, I can be here too.
Mm-hmm.
I can do this.
Oh, that's
so thank you.
I could cry.
You said, thank you for saving my life.
Yeah.
And then he wrote a poem for me, which is one of my most precious things. And so I feel like you never know who could be out in that audience whose life you could change for the better. You just don't know, but you got to take the risk.
Yeah. I think sometimes I'm like, what if like instead of like all the wars and the hate, like what if like for a day even everybody just channeled like kindness and, love towards each other. Like you could shift the whole world. Anyway.
Yes, you could. You could. You absolutely could. If everyone was willing to really show up and bring all their yumminess and their gifts and their talents and their big, beautiful souls and hearts to the moment.
Right.
And allowed themselves to be everything they could be. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. So all right, we're at the end of our time. Do you have one final golden nugget? You've dropped a ton. Do you have a final golden nugget to share?
Yes, I feel that really it is your responsibility, as in anyone who's hearing my voice. I really do feel that you are here to make your unique difference using your unique skills. And I want to say this, there are speaking platforms everywhere, from the boardroom to political platforms, if you will, to political chambers where some of the biggest decisions are made that affect our lives. There are all kinds of places for you to use your voice to make a difference. And I challenge every one of you to think about where your voice can be best applied and to go out there and share it with everything you've got, because you matter and your voice matters. Use your words to change your world.
Oh, I love it. So powerful. Thank you. Where can people find you and your book?
Well, yes. Well, please visit my website, which is www.theelenigroup, TheElenigroup.com. theelenigroup.com. And I've got a new book coming out. It's called Claim the Stage. And this is a special book particularly for women, because I'm on my high horse trying to get people, but women in particular, to put themselves out there and share their words. So go visit me on social media and be my friends, and we can play in social media land. How's that? And go to my website, please. If you sign up for if you go to my website, you can sign up for a really lovely little 5-part series that can help you build up your confidence and reduce your fear around public speaking.
I love it. Awesome. Thank you for that. And yes,
welcome, Gina.
Social media. So yeah, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it, and glad I found you a bit ago because this conversation was awesome.
Oh, Gina, thank you. I think the world of you, and I appreciate you asking me. You're doing beautiful things for your audience too. It's a privilege to be here today.
Awesome. Thank you.